Hey y'all, thanks for joining me today. I wanted to give a quick update to yesterday's video. I mentioned that I was going to use the resulting compost from a pile of leaves that essentially I turned into a leaf mold, which is just a fancy term for a pile of leaves that I let break down for a year, and it turned into this gorgeous dirt. And I'm going to use this as one of the ingredients in our soil mix for soil blocks that we plan on using to start some of our plants for the garden this year. But one of the things that I needed to update you on was, as I was going through it, I realized that it looks like primarily the decomposer for this particular material was roly-polies or pill bugs, because I've been finding a lot of them in here. And thankfully, because it's winter, the chickens are willing to eat the roly-polies. In the summertime, they say they've got way too many other tastier treats to enjoy, and so they turn their beaks up, aka their noses up, at roly-polies. But right now, since there's not as much of an option, they are all for the roly-polies. So what I've been doing is I've been, while the chickens were out, I was feeding the roly-polies to them directly, but now I'm starting to put the roly-polies and any grubs that I might find in that container to feed to the chickens tomorrow morning so that they have that treat. Because if I just throw it into the coop right now, they will end up probably not eating them because they've had their actual feed. So I forget what this one is, but it's not one that I want to keep around. It's kind of like a millipede. Actually, it may be a millipede. But basically, these detritivores, or these critters that break down plant material, are wonderful in a compost pile, but not so great in soil that you're wanting to put new plants into. Mostly because one of the things we've learned with the Back to Eden garden method that we've been using here is that when you have too many roly-polies like we do, it creates a problem, because then your roly-polies aren't just breaking down the plant material you don't want anymore. They also start chowing down on the plants that you want to keep. And that's a problem. So I don't mind letting these roly-polies be a treat for the chickens, and I definitely do not want them in my my soil mix for our new seedlings that we hope to encourage to grow. So anyway, I'll probably do a video on that. It probably won't be for a while, but I would like to take y'all along with me in the journey as I do the soil blocks and get some plants started for our garden. Right now, because we don't have the cattle panel yet here on the property to make our makeshift greenhouse that cannot be taxed or will not be taxed by our county. Yeah, that's a whole nother discussion. Since we don't have those yet, I've been doing small things like that little cold frame over there. We've got a fish tank somewhere that I've got to find, and I'll be using that as kind of like a terrarium / cold frame, just so that we can get something started, because it's better to have something than nothing. So as I'm digging in this leaf mold, I've basically hit bottom of the actual leaves that broke down, but as they broke down, they enriched the soil underneath. So I'm also collecting some of that soil. And of course, the grubs thought that was beautiful soil, and so we find them in there as well. And I'll just include that in the mix for, I'll include the substrate soil in the mix to kind of help give it a little more stickiness, so it's not just strictly compost. And I'll tell you a little more about the mix that I'm going to use when I actually make those soil blocks. Alrighty, thanks so much for joining me today. Hope y'all have a wonderful day. Hope y'all have a chance to dig your hands in some dirt and maybe plant a plant or two, or at least start that process. God bless, and we'll see you next time here at Kooker.